begins during the summer of 1999, introducing a man and a woman named Wang and Zhou. Wang is a man who suffers from color blindness, while Zhou is a village girl nicknamed the Breast Girl because of her very large breasts. However, in reality, Zhou wears padding in her bra to make her breasts appear large among her friends. That day, there was a physical examination at the hospital, so every student had to undergo a health check. During the health check, Zhou had to remove her belongings when stepping on the scale, and at that moment, her friends discovered that she actually had small breasts. Meanwhile, Wang needed help from his friends during the color blindness test because he couldn't differentiate between the images of a horse and a goat. Additionally, Wang accidentally dropped and damaged the lab skeleton. At the same time, a group of boys were caught peeping into the women's changing room and ran in the same direction as Wang, causing him to misunderstand and think that he was being chased by the security guard for breaking the lab skeleton. As Wang was fleeing, he accidentally collided with Zhou, bumping into her chest, which led to Wang being caught by the security guard. This incident is how Wang and Zhou came to know each other. Additionally, due to the peeping incident, Wang became famous among the women on campus and was labeled as a peeper, even though it was actually his friends who had helped him with the color blindness test that were responsible. Not long afterward, during student orientation, Wang was seen singing a song, and because of that song, Zhou fell in love with him. It turns out that Zhou cried because the song Wang sang made her homesick. Sometime later, life in their respective dormitories began, where a fight broke in the girls' dormitory over the boys they loved. While, in the boys' dormitory, Wang and his friends wrote down the names of the girls they liked on a piece of paper so that over the 4 years of college, they could help each other win the hearts of the girls they fancied. Unexpectedly, it turned out that Wang also loved Zhou because of the accidental incident when he previously collided with her. One day, Wang and Zhou met at the swimming pool, where she was seen cleaning the pool while walking towards Wang, who was sitting and playing the guitar. At that moment, Zhou tried to start a conversation by talking about the semester exams, while Wang wanted to teach her how to swim. However, Zhou declined the invitation, saying that she didn't have a swimsuit. When jumping into the pool, Wang only mentioned that Zhou had never swum since she was a child. Although Wang also loved Zhou, it turned out that during their time on campus, Wang was very passive in approaching her, which frustrated Zhou, and she became more active in approaching Wang. A few days before the New Year's Eve event, Zhou tried to approach Wang, who was on the phone. But when Zhou arrived, she accidentally overheard Wang mentioning the name Xiaoyan. Hearing this, Zhou became sad and suddenly left Wang without saying a word. When the new year arrived, Zhou and Wang seemed unable to enjoy the New Year's Eve party because of the incident. Time moved forward to the year 2000, where from a distance, Feng Song was always seen near Zhou. It turned out that Feng Song was there to matchmake Wang with Zhou. Shortly after, Wang appeared sad, even to the point of submerging himself in the swimming pool, looking like someone who was trying to do something unthinkable. Seeing this, Zhou screamed and tried to save Wang, but she ended up drowning instead, so Wang quickly saved her. After that incident, Zhou and Wang were seen eating and drinking together. However, because of her large breasts, his gaze was drawn to them. Seeing this, Zhou became angry and threw cabbage at Wang. As Wang got drunk, he shouted when the cafe owner came toward them and told them to leave. Because of this, many other patrons got angry at him, feeling disturbed. Seeing them getting angry made Zhou and Wang even angrier, and they started challenging them. Not long afterward, Wang was seen carrying Zhou back to her dormitory because she was heavily intoxicated. At the same time, during that moment, Zhou just hoped to always be close to Wang. After they parted ways, Wang was seen imagining her large breasts, and he also took the initiative to give her a swimsuit. A few days later, Zhou was seen coming to the swimming pool wearing the swimsuit given to her by Wang. Due to her large breasts, many people stared at her as she walked. However, when Zhou tried to dive into the pool, her swimsuit tore, exposing her breasts to many people. At that moment, many people laughed at Zhou, but only one person went to save her, and that was Wang. After that incident, they were seen meeting more frequently until one day they returned home drunk. Zhou accidentally entered the wrong room and ended up in the room of the most beautiful girl on campus. Because of this, Zhou was bullied by the room's occupant. However, her roommate soon came to her rescue, and they eventually ended up fighting in the room. At the same time, Wang continued to imagine Zhou's breasts and seemed very obsessed with them. A few days later, Zhou and her friends went to enjoy the beauty of the city where they lived. Unexpectedly, Wang had planned a birthday celebration for Zhou. So, on a boat, they ended up singing together. On another day, Wang wanted to confess his love to Zhou. So he and his friends were seen painting leaves and trees pink in a certain place because Zhou had previously mentioned that she liked the color pink. Hearing this, his friends cheered him on and gave him a condom in case he successfully confessed his love to Zhou. At night, before Wang could express his feelings to Zhou, it rained and washed away the paint they had applied to the trees. However, because Wang was colorblind, he didn't realize that the pink color on the leaves had disappeared, turning them back to green. This left Zhou confused when Wang asked her about the place. Even so, Zhou accepted Wang's love confession, and they were seen about to have their first intimate moment. But Wang appeared overly eager and started kissing her neck, dropping the condom given by his friends, which made Zhou cry upon seeing it and leave him alone at the place. Because of that, Wang felt guilty for treating Zhou that way, so he decided to go to a karaoke place to express his sadness. When he arrived at the karaoke place, Wang saw Zhu Ting being harassed by a group of men. He then immediately kicked the man who was bothering her and took her away from the place. Shortly after, in the rain, Zhu Ting and Wang went to a broken boat by the riverbank. There, they started talking, and their conversation became more intimate, with Wang and Zhu Ting almost kissing. However, their kiss was interrupted by a fish that jumped towards the boat they were on. Several days later, Wang and Zhu Ting took a walk around the campus. At that time, Wang was seen warned Zhu Ting to forget about him. However, she suddenly hugged him, and a friend accidentally took a photo of them embracing. Sometime later, Zhou was seen refusing to meet Wang in the library. This happened when a famous singer in the country passed away, and Wang and his friends gathered to remember and pray for the person. Additionally, Wang's friend, who had confessed that he liked Zhu Ting, came and immediately showed a photo of Wang and Zhu Ting hugging. The man was angry because Wang had previously written that Zhou was the only girl he loved. Yet he ended up with the woman his friend liked and tried to deceive Zhu Ting. Because of this, they had a fierce argument. At that time, Zhou couldn't do anything, and she also saw a photo of Wang and Zhu Ting hugging. Because of this incident, Zhou and Wang became uneasy due to the misunderstanding, leading Wang to have a conflict with his roommate. Similarly, the atmosphere in Zhou's room became uncomfortable because both Zhu Ting and Zhou were in the same room. Because of this incident, Wang's grades became very poor, and during the faculty meeting, his name was mentioned several times, as they were trying to expel Wang from the university. Seeing this, Wang's friend, who acted as a spy, was seen leaving. Sometime later, the students were seen participating in a balloon popping competition using remote control boats. At that time, Zhou was skillfully playing the game, but it turned out that the boat she was controlling was being maneuvered by Wang, who was diving and directing the boat towards the balloons. However, this didn't last long, as Wang was soon caught diving and was taken away by security. A few days later, Wang's friends were trying to persuade the professors not to expel Wang from the university to give him a chance to correct his mistakes. After that incident, Wang became diligent in his studies, and they all passed the exams, ending with singing in the canteen. During the graduation ceremony, it was clear that Wang still wasn't on good terms with Zhou, and he could only imagine himself kissing her. Meanwhile, Wang managed to reconcile with his friends and Zhu Ting after the previous misunderstanding. Finally, the time for farewell arrived, and Zhou deeply regretted Wang's departure. Several years have passed since they graduated from college, and it turns out that Zhou still misses Wang. However, because Zhou doesn't know his whereabouts, she can only wait for fate to bring them together. Unexpectedly, all this time Wang had been working as a street musician, and they met just when Zhou was having a party with her friends before her wedding. When they met, Wang did not immediately realize that the person he encountered was Zhou and only recognized her when he was asked to take their photo. After that, one of Zhou's friends asked Wang to sing, and as he sang, Zhou was seen shedding tears. After finishing the song, Zhou's fiancée also requested a song to be sung, but Wang's heart could not bear it any longer. While singing the song, Wang abruptly left the place and wiped his tears in the bathroom. A few months after that incident, Wang's college friend, Feng Song, visited him. It seemed that he came after Wang felt heartbroken because Zhou had married someone else. Apparently, the night before, Wang even had dinner with Zhou and asked her to rekindle their college love. But since Zhou said she was married to someone else, Wang became distressed and called Feng Song. After meeting with Feng Song, Wang decided to open a restaurant with him using recipes provided by Feng Song. Within just 10 months, their business became very popular and busy. One day, Feng Song called Wang and informed him that Zhou and her husband had divorced. Upon hearing this, Wang, who still cared for her, went to her house. When Wang arrived at Zhou's house, the place was very messy, and she looked very stressed because of her divorce. But because Wang still cared for her, he immediately tidied up the place and cooked a meal for Zhou. It turned out that Zhou's ex-husband divorced her because she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Feeling frustrated with her illness, Zhou even tried to have an intimate relationship with Wang, offering the body that he had always desired. Seeing this, Wang immediately hugged Zhou and said that he didn't want to forget their memories, even though Zhou had once asked Wang to forget their college memories. The next day, Wang was seen arriving at Zhou's house and setting up a tent to stay overnight. At that time, Wang felt responsible and tried to lighten the mood by joking that her illness was caused by him bumping into her chest during a physical test back in the day. After that, Wang cooked a healthy meal made from spinach for her to help improve her health. Sometime later, Zhou went for an examination at the hospital, and to recover, she had to undergo breast surgery to increase her chances of survival. Seeing Zhou's expression change, Wang held her hand tightly. Not long after, at Zhou's house, Wang was seen talking about a paper that he and his friends wrote during college. Wang then showed her what he had written about the person he cared for during their college years. Because of this, Zhou realized for the first time that Wang had been deeply in love with her all this time. Several days later, Wang and Feng Song were seen visiting Zhou to encourage her as she continued her battle against cancer. It turned out that they had collected video messages from their college friends to motivate Zhou to fight her illness. After that, Wang and Feng Song danced like they did during Zhou's birthday celebration in college. Not long after, Zhou finally underwent surgery to remove her breast cancer. Although the surgery was successful, she appeared very sad about losing her 2 breasts. Even after the surgery, Zhou decided to run away for a while to feel better. Nonetheless, she still planned to marry Wang because he had always taken care of her. 1 year later, Wang's and Zhou's college friends were seen gathering together, where Zhu Ting, Feng Song's wife, announced that her husband had passed away. Hearing this, Wang became very sad because Feng Song had always been there to help him. He even remembered Feng Song's words about planning a surprise for his wedding with Zhou. The film ends with the sadness shown by Wang and Zhou as they hold hands while singing with their college friends and scattering Feng Song's ashes into the river. The film then concludes. Moral lesson from the story: if you have color blindness, avoid painting things pink. You'll just end up seeing green and confusing everyone, including your crush. And remember, padding your bra won't make you a better swimmer. It just makes for a hilarious swimsuit malfunction.